Hey, it's the Odd Man. I'm at La Ventana, which is the second largest natural arch in New Mexico. It is part of the Malpais National Conservation Area. Malpais may be pronounced Malpais, which I think in Spanish would be bad country, and it means badlands. There's a huge section of this that's a big lava flow that is virtually impossible to cross. As you can see from these maps, El Malpais is up in the northwest corner of New Mexico and is another one of the large parks. My 2-mile run barely scratched the surface, but because of the nature of the country, most of it isn't accessible anyway. So this stop at El Malpais wasn't on my itinerary. I ended up with an extra day because I got to White Sands early. And it didn't take terribly long, so it was easy to find another place to stop and maybe do a run. This place is interesting. Like many of these desert places, it's huge, but doesn't have many trails and all that sort of stuff. It's kind of scenic in its own right. It's not one I would probably go very far out of my way for. I'm going to do this rim trail here in El Malpais. I'm just going to do a couple miles out and a couple miles back. This trail isn't like the famous Narrows in Zion. It's on a ridge, where the one at Zion, of course, is in the bottom of a canyon. This one was kind of hard to prepare for. It's late in the day, so it's going to get cool, quite a bit cooler. It's already kind of cool. It was about 55 degrees. And obviously the wind is blowing like crazy. The wind is with me on the way out, so that means it'll be against me on the way back. And of course by then I'll be more tired and more cold, so it's hard to know what to wear. Dancing over these rocks takes some energy. No kidding. The road runs along the base of this cliff all along here. And it's kind of funny because the El Malpais National Conservation Area is to the left and to the right is BLM land. So the Narrows hike I took, which was on top of this cliff, was actually on BLM land, not in the National Conservation Area. This turned out to be a pretty good hike, this Narrows in El Malpais. The scenery was surprisingly spectacular. I was kind of shocked by that. I'd kind of anticipated it would be a little more pedestrian, but it really was quite cool. The run itself was rather unique in that I felt kind of overwhelmed. I'd left my car parked by itself out in the middle of nowhere, like I always do, but I seemed to be a little more worried about it. I was dancing across all those rocks trying to, keep my footing, of course, but I think the difference was the wind. The wind was blowing so hard that all that dancing on the rocks I had to do, I was impacted by the fact that the wind was pushing me just a little bit. It wasn't pushing me tons. It wasn't going to knock me over, but it was just enough to confuse my footing a little bit. And the wind blowing in my ears, the wind blowing in the trees, it was like a little sensory overload or something. I don't know. But it was unique. And I don't recall ever running in this much wind before. So the only thing I can think of that would impact my attitude so much was the wind. The whole run just seemed more stressful. It shouldn't have, because it was a quick out and back. No big deal. So anyway, there you have it. Thanks for watching. This is the Odd Man, out.